Hi, welcome to our Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 10. My name is Scott.
I'm Sam.
And we're going to be reviewing Season 6, Episode 10.
Finale!
Finale! Okay, I have to redact the thing that we said last time. They didn't spend all their budget on last episode. That explosion today was awesome.
Oh. Yeah.
Basically, what I'm saying, if you should have probably already watched the episode, obviously, if you're watching this.
Yeah, do not watch this because spoilers. Watch it first, then come back, like and subscribe.
But Cersei's at the beginning.
Oh, they backed her into a corner last episode. They've been pushing her and pushing her and pushing her, and now she came out fighting. It was inevitable that she was not going to take that crap laying down.
Yeah, it just kind of was like, when is she going to bite? When is she going to strike back? Because we know Cersei's is capable of awful things, and you're just waiting for that moment. And they allude that there's something big going on. They were going to burn down the city at one point. The Mad King was going to burn down the city if he wasn't able to get his way.
And to me, that was foreshadowing of a possible future event.
It really does kind of.
That's what it felt like.
Bring her story full circle to finally see where she's come, and in not a good way. You know what I mean? Most characters, you want something good to happen. This character, you've seen the worst of her, the kind of worst of her, probably the little bit of best of her, and then the very worst of her. You know what I mean? Like, she's just been all over the place. When he got stabbed down in the cellars with all the wildfire, and he was walking over waiting.
Lancel.
Yeah.
Lannister. Yeah.
How stressful was that? He was walking up to it. Did you kind of think that he could have? I mean, I knew he wasn't going to, but what if he had blown it out?
Why didn't he? He was close enough, wasn't he?
I still think he was far enough away, and even if he tried to blow it out, it would have burnt the rest of it up. It was that close, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I kind of had that inkling of what if he blows it out, or what if Marjorie gets out of the
It does make me wonder.
Explosion.
Because they didn't actually. I'm sure the High Sparrow's dead, but they.
They show him burning up.
Yeah,
That's the first person. Boom!
But
finally,
they didn't show
High Sparrow dead. That's
They
cool.
didn't show Marjorie, and they didn't show Loras.
No.
So is it possible that they got out?
No, that's impossible because they're having the ceremony. There's already been time after. Like, even the message has gotten out to Jaime and to Marjorie's grandmother and stuff that it all happened. She's dead. She even says that her granddaughter's dead. So there's
All right.
There's no way that that's going to happen.
Well, we thought the Hound was dead and he came back. But that's his name. Whatever. What?
I mean, what do you think about Cersei's reign? Even Jaime's scared of it.
Now that there's always seems to be one villain, truly villainous character all throughout the series. First it was Joffrey, then it became Ramsay Bolton. I wonder if perhaps now that all of her kids are dead, including Tommen, who killed himself, if that little bit of humanity that was there, it's now gone, she's going to become the new quote-unquote villain of the story.
Well,
because she blew up a lot of people with that wildfire, like a lot of her subjects, and it's like, you heartless human being, holy crap. But anyway, so I think she might be the new quote-unquote villain.
Okay.
So.
I think so too. I mean, like, it's going to come down to her and Daenerys for sure in King's Landing, which is going to be cool. And we'll talk more about Daenerys in a bit.
Girls rule and boys true.
But, another thing, I mean, like, what do you think about Tommen?
I'm not gonna lie, I cheered on the inside. I'm sorry. I know that sounds heartless, but he was so annoying. He did not add. Honestly, he made the story worse. He made everything worse for everybody. He was a weakling. He let the High Sparrow talk him into stuff. Marjorie got him to do stuff. He was a crappy king. He was not meant to be king. And plus, we knew that he was going to end up probably dying anyway because of that prophecy, that Cersei got earlier when she was a little girl. Well, good riddance.
Well, I don't think that's a little harsh.
He was a little wanker. Okay.
I think you look at him and
he was going to make his mother go to trial.
Yeah, but I think look at his arc of story. He became king. He didn't want to become king. He was pushed around by his mother to do some awful things.
I agree.
And then when he gets some sort of sanctity away from his mother because she gets tried for all these crimes from the High Sparrow, the High Sparrow comes in and acts like, hey, I'm your buddy old pal. And he's just getting used again. And even before the High Sparrow, Marjorie's using him too. You know what I mean?
Well, that's my point. He's a weakling, and...
Well, it's not that he's a weakling. He
is a weakling.
He definitely doesn't stand up for himself, for sure. And it shows in the way that he rules.
Doesn't help that his voice is obnoxious either. That high-pitched, I'm King Tommen.
Well, all of the Lannister boys, have been a little bit that way. Other than Jaime. Jaime's cool, but...
True, too true. But...
And, I mean... I kind of feel for him in a way because even though he did sentence his mom, it's because he's being used by the High Sparrow. It was because he's being used by Marjorie. It's because, his mom was using him. Like, ultimately, his story is a story of abuse, I feel like. You know what I mean? Over
agree.
so much time. He's sort of like, Theon. Where...
But he allowed this to happen, though.
But he's like a beaten down dog, you know what I mean? He doesn't know any better. All he can do is follow this because he doesn't know.
He's not as beaten as Theon was.
No, but I mean I don't feel like exact joy about him committing suicide. That was tough.
I know. It was like I admit I was sad that he felt like it had to come to that point, but honestly, at this point in the story, it was necessary. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well, John. King of the North! King of the North! King of the North!
Actually, before we move on to that, let me ask you. So at the very end, when Cersei gets crowned queen, and we see Jaime's face, what do you think about that? Do you think he's, mad at her? Do you think he's what the freak happened here? Do you think he's, happy about this? What do you think? I couldn't really tell from his facial expression.
I think he's scared. I think he's scared of what she's done.
And what she's capable of.
But I think he knew that when he left that she was going to have to take drastic measures. She was going to have to, do what she had to do to stay alive. I think he's most disappointed that his son's dead. His last son is dead, and that it's come to this, you know what I mean? I think it's just a feeling of defeat, a feeling of, wow, this is really what our family's come to. I think he's scared of her in a bit, but I think it's mostly just a defeat of the family, because the family is so much...
He's going to, go against Cersei then? At some point, do you think he's going to be so, no, you've done enough. I am not going to let you do any more harm. Or...
No, because I think the next big thing that's going to happen to Cersei is going to be Daenerys.
Okay.
So,
fair enough.
And I can't see him taking Daenerys' side. On the other hand, there is Tyrion, and he's on Daenerys' side, and so it is a tough thing. It's definitely a family, torn apart, ripped apart. Jaime's kind of there in the middle, and you're just like, he's bad, but he's not all bad, and Tyrion's good, but not necessarily, always good, but he is pretty much good. But then, it's tough. It's a tough decision.
Well, okay, so back to Jon, King of the North, King of the North. Woo!
I think that it was cool that. Wasn't that scene just kind of like that rallying call scene, just got you?
I cried. I'm not gonna lie. It's I know that's silly to say, but I did. It was just so. Yes!
See, and I didn't cry, but I felt like in power, like, yeah, finally, John's, getting his thing, he's finally able to do what he wants to do and become who he wants to become. Realistically, it's the fact that he finally gets to be part of the family.
Yes,
You know
that
what
he's
I mean?
recognized.
It's so sad
Yeah.
because his story, they allude in the show that his mother, gave birth.
It's
to him,
totally
obviously.
obvious. They showed the baby's face and they concentrated on his eyes, which are brown, and then all of a sudden they moved to adult Jon
But they
Snow.
didn't tell us who his dad was. That's the key.
Honey, we all know that she was taken by Rhaegar. Everybody in the story knows that. So they don't actually have to say it. They implication is
So
all
that's
there.
what what makes that scene even more important to me is that he's actually the rightful king to the
the Seven
country,
Kingdoms, all of
and
it.
he's just barely getting noticed by his adopted family, basically, as a real person.
Pretty much.
So that was pretty cool. I'm pretty excited that happened. I'm glad Lyanna kind of finally stood up to him and told him,
It's like, who cares if he's a bastard? He's a Stark. He has Ned Stark's blood in him. He is king.
yeah.
Bam.
And she is the best. She's just like this little ball of thunder. She's stern, but she's to the point, and you can tell that
She's not stupid.
she cares about her kingdom and Jon really cares about the kingdom. Speaking of the king, Jon's North rule, his first order of business is to kill the woman in red. What do you think?
I knew that was coming up because of the preview of the previous episode. I just didn't know Jon would actually be like, we need to kill you. And yeah, Melisandre has not been my favorite character. I admit that. She's done some horrible things, and the icing on the cake was when she had little Shireen, killed, and of course Davos, who I love him too. He has put up with so much crap in this series, and he's seen horrible things that this woman has done, and I think this was the last freaking straw, man. And I guess I don't know. I think Jon did I don't know. I don't know if he did the right thing or not by just banishing her.
I mean, we talked a little bit about what happened, and I think he made the wrong decision. I think he should have killed her.
See, and I feel like she made a good point.
The
She
thing
could
is,
help out with the war with the White Walker.
the only real point she made to me is that she brought Jon back, and look, Jon has become their savior of the North, this king of the North, and that wouldn't have happened if the god didn't bring it.
Yeah.
But the
Lord of Blood.
the problem with that is that Jon didn't want to be back. Jon was finally free of the world, and he was okay with it. And when he got brought back, it was a burden on him because it was like, what does this mean for me? Who am I? What am I? You know what I mean? Am I
True.
Jon? Am I not Jon anymore? And it does kind of lead back to, obviously he's Jon and he's acting the way he is. He's not acting as like a demon or anything, but in the same regards, he's brought back from black by dark magic, pretty much. I mean, you can call it their god or whatever. But if she was so misled before that she burned a girl to death and in front of her parents, and then the mom killed herself, and then even at her quote unquote trial there, where she was saying that Stannis died and the mom died too, it's like she didn't say that the mom killed herself because of it. She didn't actually stand up for what she actually done.
Well, the mother did contribute. She went along with Stannis, so it was like as if she really did. She killed her daughter, essentially. And that's why she ended up offing herself, because she realized, oh crap, I killed my only kid. For nothing.
Well, I think it was more than that too. I mean, I think a lot of things came up to her. And I think Melisandre should have gone.
Which tells me that something's going to happen with her later on.
She's going to be important to the story. There's more that she has to add to it. But
whether it's good or bad.
As what I thought Jon should do, I think he should have offed her.
Fine. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so Littlefinger, which we all know is not trustworthy. But and he's trying to use Sansa again, claiming that he cares for her. He alluded to that and saying that I want the Iron Throne, which we all knew he did, but the fact that he came out and said it.
I thought about it after the episode had ended, and I really feel raw about how, on one hand, they wouldn't have Winterfell back without Littlefinger. But Littlefinger sold her to Ramsay and knew that Ramsay was a bad guy and knew that something bad would happen to her. So the fact that he's saying, "Oh, I can't see myself being on the throne without you," is a load of crap. I don't think it's totally full of crap. I think that always has been sort of his idea. He always has had something for Sansa, and he's gotten her out of a lot of precarious situations because of it. But the fact that he sold her to Ramsay Bolton and he knew
he's using her.
He's not good. And when it came back down to that ending part where they were, saying "King of the North, King of the North," and it cuts to her kind of looking at him and
kind
him
of
looking
like
at her,
sheepish, like, "Oh well."
I think that he's their biggest enemy.
He's
at
manipulator,
this point. Like,
yeah.
Even though obviously the Night Walkers are coming in and stuff, that's important. The battle's actually going to start happening. I think he's the one loose end that they have that could throw things a serious spiral out of control.
Yep. There's always got to be a challenge, and he's finally going to be the challenge, I think.
Yeah.
So, all right. Arya killing Frey Sr.
I mean,
oh, that was so cool! I knew
I have
it.
to say, up to the point, like Jaime has that talk with him, and basically says, you're not anybody.
It's like, we have to come down and save your butt all the time, but we don't need you necessarily.
And then the fact that Arya comes down, she's
finally back in Westeros, obviously.
Back in Westeros, she's a full-blown assassin basically at this point, and it's sort of sad because I sort of had this sense of dread above me, even though I always wanted her to get finally her revenge. Now that she's getting it, she's a cold-blooded killer. She just slits his throat and smiles about it. It's sort of dreadful thinking, because she's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
And you've seen her come from such a little kid, to grow to be this, really great, assassin and powerful, woman and great swordsman. And it's just like, there's no honor in that, there's no honor in slitting someone's throat, really.
Well, she was avenging her brother and her mother, that killed at the Red Wedding.
It seems like when she started out being a swordsman, she was learning how to actually combat. She was learning how to actually approach someone as a battle. An honorable battle. That wasn't an honorable battle, but it was sweet revenge. It was good to finally see him die, but it's kind of sad to see her finally actually going down that path, even though we knew she was.
Well, I knew she was going to be an awesome assassin. I knew it. She was going to be awesome. It was going to be great. But like you said, how will she let these experiences define her? Like, is she going to become the ruthless killer? In this case, I think she can get away with it because she was just defending her family's honor and getting revenge. But after this, is she still going to act like that? Is she still going to?
Yeah.
Who knows? So we'll see.
All right, onward and upward to Tyrion and Daenerys.
Okay, I feel bad for Dario, whatever his name is. It was obvious that he really loved Dany. And the fact that she's like, I know you care about me and I care about you, but in my grand scheme of things,
Did you see that panning out? I don't. I feel more bad for her.
He did so much for her, and he stuck by her. I don't know. I felt bad for him.
I mean, I kind of see him as...
It's no fun getting dumped.
He's the power on the other side of the ocean. He's still a good ally. It's still good that she left on, somewhat good terms with him. and she will need him in the future to continue to keep Marine, without slaves and be Dragon's Bay rather than Slaver's Bay. But
Awesome, by the way, yeah.
I think that ultimately that's his point. Tyrion kind of points out that you can't attack Westeros with another king with you. You need to have that bargaining chip. And the other thing is, it's really good that her and Tyrion have kind of like cleared things up and they're on the same page, because Tyrion really knows the ins and outs of King's Landing. He knows how they would protect it. If there's anyone who knows how to protect King's Landing in a worst case scenario, it's definitely Tyrion. But on the other hand, that pins Cersei's and Tyrion against each other now when he comes into King's Landing. And that's going to be a battle of the century, because as far as she's concerned, he still killed Joffrey.
True.
And he's still on the run from killing their father and Joffrey and leaving the country.
Pretty much.
So, I don't see this. I'm glad he has an army and 3 dragons and Daenerys on his side and all the Dothraki, but I still worry that Cersei has something up her sleeve. I just worry.
But I think it'll work out, though. It'll be really hard, and a lot of crap is going to happen, but I really think it's going to work out.
It's going to be a battle for the ages. Yeah, I love that shot where, she's riding on the boats and, you see all the dragons and then you see all the ships, and it's like, wow, this is actually really happening. From the first season, we've been wanting to see her cross the ocean. We're finally getting to see her cross the ocean. It's like, yes. One question, though.
Are you talking about the eunuch?
Yes.
Varys?
How was he on the boat with Daenerys and them?
In that last shot, how did he get from Dorne? Because obviously he went to Dorne. We saw that with grandmother Tyrell.
Yeah.
Making a deal with him. And he's suddenly there, and then now he's back on the ship, and it's like, how did you get there so freaking quick? And plus, I wonder, why was he really there in Dorne? Like, was he really there on Daenerys' errands?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means for them, because does it mean that the grandmother has him in her pocket and that he's not on their side?
Because we always knew, especially in the first 2 or 3 seasons, that he's loyal to whoever's gonna
pays him the most money, whoever gets him where he needs to be, whoever keeps him alive.
Very similar to Littlefinger in that sense. And so he I don't know, he could be turning.
It's just weird that they had him, like, it seemed like he had left on the episode before. He talked to her and said he was going to King's Landing. But, didn't he?
Yeah.
But he didn't go to King's Landing, he went to talk to her, and then he's already back from there. It just doesn't seem to add up for all the travel. They have been traveling a lot more in the 6th season and not showing us every little bit, which I'm glad. We need to move on with the series, and it's coming to an end, and it's coming fast. So, I'm glad that's happening, but it just didn't make a lot of sense that he was already there. Let us know if maybe we're missing something. The proximity of the Marine and there is close enough, probably, but kind of my final thoughts, since this is the finale.
My opinion, I think this is the best season ever. It just, so much has happened, so much has been revealed, and many people who needed to die, like the freaking High Sparrow, was long overdue. I feel like the series is finally catching up to where the rest of us wanted to be.
They're finally tying up those loose ends, and we're actually getting, like I said to you before, we're getting the actual real characters. Because it's funny, because when we introduced all the characters in the beginning, we're like, oh my gosh, they just killed off all those main characters. Well, they're not the main characters.
Obviously, we didn't know that.
These are the players. These are the real players, and this is what's actually happening. So now we're finally getting to the real meat and potatoes of, this is the battle, this is the winter's coming, not winter's coming, winter's here.
It's here.
And full force.
Oh yeah. And of course, they've been talking about on Facebook how there's probably going to be only 2 more seasons left. 13 episodes total. HBO, not cool, by the way. Making us wait a whole year for 7 episodes. But no, you can tell they're finally, like you said, tying up those loose ends so we can get to
I think this next
The meat.
season is going to be a lot of King's Landing. It's going to be a lot of Daenerys and
lots of fighting and lots of
Cersei's, and a little bit of Jon and the Night King and all that stuff's going to happen. And I think it's going to kind of balance itself out, and then finally in the very end, it's going to be something between basically Westeros versus the Night King kind of thing. That's what
Pretty
my
much.
thoughts are.
True, too true. And so we're looking at Jon, Cersei, and Dany. That's it. Those are the three main players left.
All right. Well, like and subscribe for more content. We did a Independence Day 2 review, so if you want to check out more stuff, go and check that out. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.